The NeuroDADverse Podcast is produced by Squid Shack Studios.
Hey, I'm Ben.
And I'm Dan.
We're both fathers,
We're both married.
and we're both raising kids with diagnosed neurodiverse conditions.
Parenting is tough, and we're not saying it's harder for us, just different.
And sometimes that different can be hard to explain.
That's why we've created the NeuroDADverse, a weekly show where we share our wins, our challenges, and all the neuro-sparkly and neuro-spicy bits in between.
Our hope is to create a safe space for parents to share their own highs and lows of neurodiverse parenting. And just to remind you of three things.
You're doing great,
You are enough.
and you're definitely not alone.
So welcome to the NeuroDADverse. What's that coming over the hill? Is it a monster? No, it's the NeuroDADverse. Hello, welcome back to the podcast for, about, and definitely by parents of neurodivergent children. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. If you can't remember, doesn't matter. Just have a listen, see if you like what we talk about. My name's Ben, this is Dan, and we are just going to talk about what it's been like, what the challenges and the wins are of parenting our neurodivergent children. Good evening, Dan.
Good evening, Ben. Another night record.
Yes, this parenting and working stuff. Got to make it fit, haven't you?
And
Cool. Before we
birthday.
get into what?
It was a birthday weekend as well.
Oh yeah, it's a big birthday weekend for me. What on earth did you? How on earth, sorry, did you sum up your week in 3 words then, pal?
So, my week in 3 words this week, I've gone for hats, games, surprises.
I tried to do some half rhymes.
We love a
And-
half rhyme and a full rhyme on this pod.
Yeah. So I've gone. Stay with it. Puke.
Okay.
Listen up, Frankie. Cake. And make up.
Okay. Some tenuous
I had a
half
bit-
rhymes there. But
Yeah. So puke, cake, make up. That's how it works. All right. So let's get into it. Do you want to talk to me about any challenges you had this week? Was it a particularly challenging week?
No, I must admit, again, we're on a bit of a good stretch. Majority of this week has been really, really positive. I have got one little scenario that to share that was just kind of, I think it's just a nice example to share. If people are only going to listen to the first 10, 15 minutes of our pod, an example of how our life can be and how a nice moment can just suddenly turn. And still not 100% sure, although I have some working theories on what it was. So I'll set the scene, I'll paint the picture. We were off to the Sen gym, as we normally do most Saturdays. Frankie just really enjoys it there, the routine of the day. We have breakfast all together, sitting down at the table. Me and him go off and do other bits and bobs, so he does a bit of housework, and then we go off to the gym. And we had a really nice time there, was having a good day. He was playing and interacting actually with I didn't put this down as a win either, actually. But yeah, we were actually interacting with a few of the other kids. There were some kids there doing some bit like using the gym equipment to build a fort or a house or whatever.
Okay.
And we were all having to sort of bundle inside, and he was really enjoying that. It was, oh, this is great. We ordered our cab like we always do to come home, although it's a really, really busy time because it's pretty much end of lunchtime, and it's right by a giant supermarket, Sainsbury's, and it can be insanely busy trying to get out of the car park and the
Yeah.
But our cab come really quickly. He was happy. We went straight in. Cab driver asked us when we got in. He goes, "Can I ask you a question?" We're like, "Absolutely." He's like, "Do you mind if I can just pop in the petrol station while we're here?" And literally 30 seconds into the drive, there is a petrol station. And we went, "Yeah, fine. We're having a good day." And that's where it all started to go slightly wrong. So we pulled up into the petrol station. Everything was fine. He turned off the engine, left the car, and then Frankie just started to deregulate quite rapidly and just jumped up from sitting between me and Amy in the back seat, jumped up so he was on his feet. So he's kind of like in a squat sort of position, because obviously he's got the seatbelt on that was stopping him from getting up. And then he just cried and screamed non-stop for it was like the longest 3 minutes ever, but the driver was filling up the car, ran to pay, come back. Absolute credit to the driver. He did say, "Is there anything I can do? Would he like a chocolate bar or anything like that?" And we went, "No, we're okay. We'll just get through it." He just obviously isn't like us being stationary. And it was only at the point when the driver asked me the question, "Is there anything I can do?" I realised that my window was open. And obviously, when you turn on the petrol pump, it makes a low grumbling noise. And that could have been what upset Frankie, but it also could be that he just doesn't like drivers of cars leaving the vehicle when we're in it. Because we had this at Christmas before our light tour. Our neighbour got out and he just freaked out, and it did exactly the same thing. So we've now come to the conclusion he maybe just doesn't like petrol stations, or he just doesn't like drivers of vehicles getting out of the car and leaving.
Yeah. So it's really interesting, because when you said that, I was almost transported back to a couple of times when I would sit in the back sometimes, and Laura would drive, or I would drive and sit in the back. And when you pull up, you get up, because it's all child locked and stuff. So you get out, you get open, you get out to let them out. And I remember Oscar just completely flipping out, completely deregulated. We could never work it out. In fact, I used to drive sometimes when we used to go to like a soft play or whatever, and Laura would go in the back, just because we thought it was an attachment thing with Laura, but it still was for a while. And then we just realized, okay, so you have to get out, or like wind the window down and open the door from the inside out sometimes, and then we get out of the car. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a similarity, but like I was like, oh yeah, pull someone, get out of the car. I don't know. Just because we've had the same experience doesn't mean it's a neurodivergent thing. But yeah,
no, it's just.
But what's good about that for me is that you guys were like, no, this will pass now. And obviously, you gave. How was Frankie when you guys got home?
So the
completely wiped out and had to just sleep it off and regulate, or.
So the win from that challenge, as we like putting wins on challenges and taking challenges from our wins. As soon as the driver got in the car and we drove, left the petrol station, and the reason it's so hard to get out is you come out the petrol station into like multi-lane traffic, and there's traffic lights. Yeah. So we were still again for a little while, and he was like, "Is there anything going?" Once we get round this corner, because it's always this one corner anyway, we will be okay, because the traffic then is steady and goes back to normal roads. And by the time we got back, he had regulated pretty well. It was pretty much the entire time we were stationary and the driver wasn't in the car, he was just crying and screaming. And yeah, it was just a long sort of 3 minutes. I just looked across at AIM, was both sort of holding him, because he hugging him with an arm each, because he looked like he was trying to get up and out, which obviously you can't do.
Oh, so tough.
And yeah, I just went, "Okay, Frank, really sorry. We made a mistake here." Like, the driver asked us, which was nice, because he could, I suppose, have just pulled in and done it. But yeah, we only did it because we're like, "Oh, he's having a good time. What harm could it do?" And then obviously that was quite a stressful couple of minutes for him. But he did do really well. And then the driver on the way back actually was asking us some questions, because he basically shared that he does have I don't know if it was neurodiversity, but he has experience with family members that have got learning difficulties and challenges, and so he was like, I understand the scream, and that's why I just wanted to know how I could help him. And literally, at the point he's screaming and you're filling up, there is nothing we can do. You can't just drive off. You need to finish the process. We appreciate it. And I was like, it was probably my fault. I should have had the window done up, but it's just one of those things. Because the journey was like 15 seconds, I didn't even notice the window was open. But yeah, so it was just nice to have the chat while me and Amy were chatting with the driver on the way home. It was only a 15-minute drive after that, and he was happy. And we went out into the garden, and we ended up having quite a nice afternoon. And it was just kind of well, if you just took that, if we just said no then and just didn't have that 3 minutes, could have been a really nice, completely uneventful day.
Yeah, if you're chronicling that day.
Yeah, it was literally just those three and a half minutes.
It's a net win.
So yeah, but it was just it was a challenge, because obviously you just don't like seeing your child deregulate, and especially when they're next to you and looking at you like do something and you actually can't do anything. but also just the challenge that we face, where it doesn't matter how good something's going, anything it can just spin 180 very quickly, and you just pray that it doesn't ruin your day. And on this occasion, it didn't. But yeah, I was just like, oh, should we have said no? And you just kind of beat yourself up over it for a little while afterwards.
Fine.
But we did have a good day after. So,
but again, that's just Frankie getting feedback from the world, and it's Frankie saying, I don't like that feedback that I'm getting.
Yeah.
And that world isn't going to change. So Frankie will eventually get used, it's in some way, to different vibes.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, if you're listening, Frankie, feedback taken, noted down, understood, and will definitely be taken under advisement. But yeah, how about you, my friend? What was your challenge this week?
Well, we are second to last week of school for myself, for Oscar, and for Mabel's time. So we got, so sorry, we're going into this. So we have 2 more weeks. Is that the same for you?
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. So we are expecting and approaching what we would consider the burnout week. It's just been a lot for the both of them, both physically and emotionally. So we're, but for us, it came a little bit early. And I don't know if it's just necessarily that or something else. But Mabel was really, really unwell, like physically unwell, like sick at school. So much so that Laura had to drive all the way and collect her, because her new school is far away from where we live. And that's a shame, really, because it's that's not happened before. So the challenge, I think, is a bit more for us thinking, how do we encourage like the actual like first aid care to happen? It will mean that probably when she's feeling like that, she's been sick, she might be a little bit more short-tempered, or a bit more like that sensory thing might gross her out, and she might be a bit not rude to staff, but like, so anyway, it went off okay, but she did miss a couple of days for it. And I think it's also that classic thing of, she's 15 and a half. We're trying to allow her to make decisions and mistakes, and like develop a relationship with like nutrition that's healthy, but forcing any of that isn't going to be the case. So, was she dehydrated? Possibly. What had she chosen to eat for breakfast? All these kind of things play into your mind, but we're not going to manage. Like, she wouldn't be the first 15-year-old kid to not look after herself, like in terms of hydration and that, and nutrition, and be sick. Like, it's fine, but it just is just another little wrinkle. But she was off Wednesday, Thursday, and then returned back to school on the Friday. So,
was she sick in class, or was this like she went to the toilet because she didn't feel well?
She left. She left class, I believe.
Okay, good. All right.
Was sick and came back, said I was sick, and then was able to find a place at her school where she could rest until Laura could collect her.
And was Laura off? So, was it a challenge because Laura wasn't around, or did she have to leave?
No. Laura was off. The challenge was, sounds wrong, but like, it's a long drive, but also more importantly, like, if you've been a little bit sick, bit of water, can you go back to your lesson like later on? Can you engage in some learning in the medical center or wherever you are in the school? Like, that's the judgment call of the staff at the school. So we were very much like, we'll just let them make that choice. But it is a relatively new school. It is only just into her 5th month there. She started in January, if if you've been listening for a while, you'll know that. So it really is like, and then also like shame, embarrassment, all that type of stuff, like what that's going to wash over her. So yeah, it's all right. It's just would rather it didn't happen, but we are going through it, and we are making sure that those little signs of burnout now, we know that will take a lot out of her. So where she's still feeling sick on the next day, it's kind of like, right, we now know how to look after you. So yeah.
And is this the week? This is the week after the mocks, or is she still mocking at the moment?
No, they did 2 weeks of mocks.
So do you think it could just be a delayed thing of like all of the overwhelm?
Oh no, nah. I don't think necessarily so. Like not this late, because it's been it'll been into our second week after mocks now. So it was very much like in the morning when I dropped her off and stuff, like or when I get her to school, like she was just looking white as a sheet.
Right.
And I was like, oh, you should probably fill your water bottle up. Oh, I'm fine. I don't know about it. So you kind of like can't micromanage a teen. Like you got to work it out. Like, and then get the feedback and then be like, oh, why was I sick? I probably didn't do that. You develop and hopefully learn through it. So, but yeah, it's just noting those burnout things and being kind of kind to it, but also curious. We're like, okay, how do you feel it went? And like, typically with her, she was like, oh, it's fine. I was sick. I had to go home. Like, it's not a problem for me. She wasn't too concerned about it, but I think that's because she knows she hadn't drunk enough water or eaten the right foods. So yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. As challenges go, it's not, I had to that one kind of stuck out because it was sickness, or puke, as I called it in my thing. So yeah, not too challenging a week, which is good news.
Yeah, we're allowed to have good weeks, because some weeks just aren't that good. So yeah, that's good.
Well, talking about good bits, should we come back after this and talk about some wins of the week?
Absolutely. See you in a sec.
Got a question or want to share a story? Drop us a message on Instagram or email us at NeuroDADverse@gmail.com. Look after yourselves. Welcome back into the NeuroDADverse, the podcast where we discuss all things neurosparkly and neurospicy about our children and bringing them up with their neurodivergent conditions. You've come back into the podcast where we're going to discuss our wins of the week, and it's your go, Dan. What are some of the wins that you've had this week?
Yeah, so I've had mostly a winning week. So I've got a couple of little things, and this is where all of my 3 words come in. Although my challenge was a surprise as well. That kind of just came out of nowhere. So a few quick-fire wins for Frank. He surprised me. I think it was Tuesday morning. We are in a really good stint. If I was to chronicle and jump back maybe 10, 11 pods ago, I was like, my challenge most of the time was being ready for school bus and motivation in the mornings, and just really impacting the rest of my sort of working day and whatever, and his day. We're in a really good stage, and on Tuesday we were ready probably 20 minutes before the bus was due. Couldn't believe it. I was like, what do we do with this time? It was just nice to chill. Bus arrives, I open the door, I take his bag over, talking to the crew. He was right behind me. I turn around, he's not there. I'm like, okay. Oh, where's he got? Walked in. Normally, sometimes he can be waiting in the kitchen window that looks out onto the drive to see the thing.
Yeah.
So I looked around the corner and he's not there, and I went, where on earth is he? Then I just hear cling, cling. I was like, sounds like doors closing. And I was like, what's... I went to meet him, and then he just starts walking down the stairs. He was cleaning his teeth but just before they arrived, and we have an upstairs toothbrush and a downstairs toothbrush. So in the morning, he cleans his teeth in the kitchen. He decided he was going to take his toothbrush up the stairs, put it in the sink, and then shut every single door on the landing like it was untidy. And then just walk on the bus, and off we went to school. So I took a photo of that. I went, he's never done this before, Aim, but okay. A little bit of a of his uncle Grant he likes having all the doors shut. So maybe,
Yeah.
just like surprised me in a nice way. I was like, okay, cool. But that's a new behaviour.
Motivated for some self-care as well. Like, oh, I must clean my teeth.
And he's he's definitely getting more. I need to put this back. So with his stim toy, he changes
Okay.
it, but he'll run back to put it back to get another one. And so yeah, we're starting to show a little bit of understanding around tidying up, which is cool. He then Amy was out at the weekend with one of her friends. It was a cowboy/cowgirl theme, and Frankie found while Amy was getting all the stuff out midweek to be like, oh look, here's the hat, here's my outfit, what do you think? Frankie put on the cowboy hat and was walking around the house with that, and he then later found her boots and put the boots on. So Frankie was walking around the house with a giant white cowboy hat on, and that just made us laugh because and then when she wore it again at the weekend and she came home, he found it and just kept putting it on and was just watching TV wearing his hat. So that's where hats come from. He's also been wearing his amazing Charlton athletic hat to go to school because it's sunny. So hats, games.
Just to clarify on that's because Charlton Athletic are amazing. The hat's probably good, but the reason you used amazing because it has Charlton Athletic on it.
Absolutely. Just to clarify. And if it wasn't for Charlton Athletic, we would not have been here for the last 40
podcast
conversations. Yes. So thank you again, Charlton Athletic. Surprise. Frankie initiated another game on the weekend. We had our old neighbours over to see us. So it was actually after the gym. So he was like, well, we don't know how this is going to go after having the challenge.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So they came about an hour or so after we come back, and they were coming for dinner. And Frankie, after we'd finished dinner, we were just chilling around the house. Frankie got out a couple of toys and games earlier in the day, and he was pulling at them and looking at them and communicating with them. Come with me, sit on the floor. And me, Frankie, and one of them were playing this frog game that I got him at Christmas. It's basically like a plastic tree with a giant canopy, and you have to balance all these little frogs on it, and if it unbalances, they will fall off. Really simple little game, but he obviously likes watching the frogs fall off. But Amy and me were both sort of documenting him actually rolling the dice, and we rolled the dice, gave him the amount of frogs he needed to put on, and he was putting them on, and just nice bit of dexterity, but also he was sort of turn taking and he was initiating the game, so that was a good communication win. And then the final one, sorry, I said I had a few. The main one is a certificate came home from school. He'd got they do like the weekly things. It's just been a little while since we saw one, and to quote it, I wrote it down here. Essentially, it was around him just being a positive influence, I believe, and just being happy at school. And I've got the quote here. It's been lovely to see your confidence bloom and your kindness and bravery make our classroom a better place. And I was like, that's a lovely surprise. So, yes, very much a winning week in the Michael household.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. I'm interested to know, did Amy get her cowboy boots and hat back in order to go out on her evening? Or was it like, I now can't go on the evening out because Frank has... That's good.
She did, but I suppose from Frankie's point of view, it was a loan. So if the hat or the shoes come out again, maybe they might be acquired again. But we will have to see. But it was nice that he
Lone Ranger. Am I right?
Yeah, maybe a little bit Milky Bar Kid vibes as well with but yeah.
Cool. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
On the topic of fun, I had birthday fun this week. I had the unprecedented experience of having to do a parents' evening as a professional teacher on my birthday for the first time in my career.
Happy birthday to you, sir. Yeah.
Yes. Happy birthday. In our household, we tend to, it's kind of a Laura thing, but we've taken it on over so many years. We tend to treat happy birthday kind of like Merry Christmas. So I think it might be like Laura's diagnosis means that she just like panics and says exactly the same thing back to you like it's Merry Christmas. But yeah, we always say it, so that's why I also wished you happy birthday. I don't know why I needed explaining. But we just rolled over my birthday to the Friday. I opened some cards and some gifts, and that's probably the most respectful it's been. And that doesn't mean in a nasty way. It's just getting us all together in the same room to watch one person open some gifts can be quite challenging. Particularly, it was the end of a day. Both of them needed some time. It took
End of a week as well.
End of a week.
Yeah.
End of a week in which Mabel had been sick and not been at school, and. But the top of that list is Mabel is diagnosed ADHD and Oscar's diagnosed autistic, and they need their time, and they need time to process and all these types of things. So we were quite patient with it. It took about an hour, but ultimately they were all there. Laura's mum was there, my mum was there. We opened the gifts and then cards, and it was funny. My dad got me a card with some terrible jokes in it. I read the terrible jokes out. Laura couldn't stop laughing, and that made us all laugh. It was good. It was lovely. And then on Saturday, we just had some friends over. The kids didn't really engage in that too much, although when Mabel did, she had a friend come over and they hung out and they were kind of chatting away, and some of our friends were kind of asking her some questions and like having some light-hearted joking about, and she was holding her own, and she's kind of good in those little scenarios, better than she thinks. And they had some friends over who were a lot of primary school age, so she was teaching them how to do some football skills and stuff. So yeah, it was just lovely stuff. And with that slowed down patience and lack of expectation, so our friends come over, sit in the garden, eat some food that Laura cooked, eat some cake, which is where my cake thing came off.
I think I just heard Frankie twitch in bed. Heard the word cake being uttered.
Sorry, I don't want to wake up the sleeping baby. We are just in the scenario where we're like, the kids might not come down and engage with our friends, and that's absolutely fine. They did both in different ways. And that's where the little extra bit of my win comes in, is that also came down and had organised, had started, or continued, to wear some mascara, a little bit of eyeshadow. They're experimenting at the moment, and they were fully comfortable around all of our friends who are here because they know all our friends are. So that was lovely that they were just there. And then later on, I'd seen some on one of Mabel's social stories. On one of Mabel's social media stories. I appreciate social stories has a different connotation in this pod. She posted about like me and my sibling through the years. She got old photos of when we were at our friend's wedding together, and they were really young and in like smart outfits and stuff. And yeah, it's just to get another little peek into the window that they, exist in each other's world and they care for each other, because it can feel that they're quite separate often. But yeah, some lovely little warm, kind things. Very thankful and grateful for a birthday where they're even kind of bothered about it, to be honest, because Oscar more so than Mabel for different reasons. But I talked to a lot on the podcast how it's been difficult for me particularly to build a understanding and relationship with that child, just because it was incredibly complicated, and we couldn't communicate for a long while for a number of reasons. But we are where we are, and it is lovely and nice to chronicle these wins.
Sounds like a lovely weekend, mate. And I got Frankie to send you a video.
Yes,
video card.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah,
trampoline jumping video, birthday wishes. Yes, please. I will take those all day long. Right, cool. We better work out if we're going to have some nice wins next week in our aptly named musical themed podcast section. Look ahead to the week ahead. It's Look Ahead to the Week Ahead. Right, here we are. What have you got coming up?
So, not too much in terms of Frankie-based news. I've just got another sort of busy-ish week traveling around doing work bits. I don't believe
Busy, exciting.
I am going to a ADHD post-diagnosis workshop hosted by a local charity / support group. I went to their ASD one when Frankie was diagnosed a few years ago and found it really useful, and I've gone to a couple of their events as and when I can. So think as Frankie was officially diagnosed a couple of weeks ago, I'm going to go try that.
Are they leaning on the Incredible Years course?
I do not know.
Well, okay. I'll look up, because Laura and I did some of that. I don't even know if that's continues to be relevant, but I will look it up and then send it to you, and you could possibly put a link in.
And then, in theory, I've got there is another Ascend parent meeting being hosted at Frankie's school as well. So potentially, I could be doing like back-to-back days of being in surrounded by fellow peers of parents of neurodivergent children. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think that's probably the highlight. And tune in to see how different and full of surprises my week ended up being, but not much on, as I say, it's the penultimate week before half term. So I'm sure there'll be some kind of drama.
Nice. We got a weird week.
Ooh.
Because Laura has to attend Mabel's parents' evening.
Okay.
And then I am also doing yet another parents' evening as a teacher. So, so both of those are happening concurrently.
Right. So you can't go. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's just it's fallen that way. So, we are. And then Laura's got some work shifts dotted around throughout the week. We've got a blank weekend, which is a little bit rare. So I don't know what's going to happen there.
Ooh.
Probably just gear up for our final week of term, because more about that next week. But we are going to go away with Laura's family for half term somewhere, which is lovely.
Amazing.
So yeah, but we're going to need some run up to that, I think.
Does everyone know that that's happening, or is this an exclusive on the pod?
Don't go with us. No, we don't. We don't go away with a lot of scaffolding. This is the place. We will go here. This is the people carrier that we have to rent. It will take this long. When we get there, this is where you'll stay. You'll share a room with your sister. And it's really interesting because you start to try to tell Mabel about it, or she goes, can I just do it when I'm there?
Can I just live it live?
Absolutely. Yeah. Can I just experience this and then not move on? So yeah, different things for different kids, different processes. So yeah, not too much at all really this week. So that's cool. Right, I think that brings us careering to the end of our evening record. If you've got this far and you've listened to us talk about what it's like to be dads in a world of neurodivergent children, thank you very much. This podcast definitely is nice and comfortable and a lovely space for us to just share how we are feeling. And when we are feeling on the up with things, that's nice. But equally, when we're feeling slightly on the downward spiral, perhaps, or just low a little bit, it really does lift those spirits and help just to chronicle it all out. and all feelings are valid. So if you are getting something out of this too, we super appreciate that. Thank you very much for watching and or listening. I'm sure I've forgotten something, or maybe 3 things. Dan, you can remind me.
So yeah, thank you as always for getting to this part of the pod to hear me say our 3 core founding reasons for having these conversations and recording them and sharing them with the world. We just want to let you know that you are enough, you're doing great, and you're certainly not alone. Win your week.
Good energy.
Good energy.
That's about it for the NeuroDADverse. We'll be back next week.
If you laughed, cried, or nodded in tired agreement, don't forget to follow us and leave a review. It helps more parents find us.
Just remember, you're doing great.
You are enough, and you are definitely not alone.
Got a question or want to share a story? Drop us a message on Instagram or email us at neurodadverse@gmail.com. Look after yourselves.